It's the single thread holding together the tapestry of humanity. It's the passive-aggressive hour. I'm Steve Reeves, the bull of American broadcasting, alongside Johnny the K. Kensel, and the legendary Whit. Tonight, a lot of surprises. I believe we should have an old friend of the show joining us by the phone in just a little bit. But first, we're going to go to John Kensel with his goddamn tweets for the fortnight. Johnny?
Gosh darn it.
You know, my middle name is Religious, and the other night I watched a special on the Shroud of Turin. They said it's fake because, number one, the wounds are not the same as in the Bible. Two, on the Shroud, he has Caucasian/European features. And three, he was wearing an Ed Hardy T-shirt, and they weren't around. Yes, and those T-shirts weren't around in the OOs.
But Ed Hardy was.
I was at the airport and I heard John Waite. So I turned around and said, "Oh, about 195." And John Waite, the singer of Missing You, was standing next to me. I made that up, you piece of shit. Sorry.
Am I missing something? John Wade. John Wade.
That's the guy's name.
Oh, is he a one-hit wonder?
No, he was with the Babies.
Yeah, the Babies did all right.
Oh, okay.
Missing You and...
Wait, did you just not get the joke, Whit? Is that what happened?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't get the joke. To tell you the truth, I didn't know who
said,
John Wade is. I mean, it's sometimes the references I don't understand because you guys are much cooler than me in that sort of.
John heard somebody
you're
say
like a group named the Babies.
John Wade, and John took that to mean they wanted a bodily statistic,
or John Hurt, and I. It's like when I step on a nail. All right. Hey, I just edited the Hindenburg disaster page on Wikipedia.
Yeah?
I put under cause of explosion, I changed it from static electricity to just mice dicking around.
That's in Jersey where that happened, and they still have the hangar there for the Hindenburg. And that was the first time somebody on the radio did a live report of action when they got, oh, the humanity. That was the first time that somebody actually did a live report on the radio.
You know what I heard, though? I heard that was re-recorded.
It might have been re-recorded, but I heard that they smuggled out the tape, and that's the story of how they did it. But it was also the paint that did it, too. The paint and the static electricity.
My nephew asked me, what's the difference between a melody and a medley? And I said a melody is musical sounds in succession, and a medley is like rice and corn and peas mixed together. What are you, stupid or something? I ought to march you, nephew, down to City Hall and legally change your name to Moron.
Oh. Edith Piaf.
Yes. Hey, this is a tweet from John Kensel's Hollywood Facts. Ever notice in all the old Warner Brother films, all the actors had offbeat, charismatic faces, like James Cagney, Betty Davis, Humphrey Bogart, Clark Gable, Al Molinaro, Slapsy, Freckles Johansson, Jackie Smutsy, Shitbag McGillicuddy.
Wait, they must have been extras or something like that. Shitbag McGillicuddy.
I like my coffee like my women. Smooth, nice and easygoing, exciting, exotic, zesty, and fresh. And from behind the counter at McDonald's. The science is settled. Solar panel flashlights don't work. Boom, mic drop. It's over, Johnny.
That's like a screen door in a submarine. Same joke.
Dolores Cantina of the Real House of New Jersey said her family had COVID during the holidays. And I said, that's your fault because you went to the wrong mall store. You went to build a virus.
Forever 21. Now it's Forever 19, I guess.
You know, a lot of schools are banning Tom Sawyer, the book. Well, I think it just simply just change Huck Finn's friend's name to Hacksaw Jim. That way, everybody wins.
I like that.
French Stewart may be the international spokesperson for Clamato, but he's just a figurehead. He has no power over the public. Plus, he's really pushy at country line dancing night at the Y. I don't know if it was French Stewart, but the dude looks just like him.
Country line dance, John. You know, they country line dance to any song almost. They can country line dance to it. Like when I was on the road, I used to see them country line dance to like rap and disco. And it was like weird to see cowboy hats.
It is the boot scootin' boogie shit. In my hotel, the coffee creamer, hair conditioner, and hand lotion are all in the same bottle. Well, they are when I check out. Ladies. Very disappointed. My Ruth Buzzy yoga DVD.
Love Ruth.
Yeah. It just turned out to be a bar coaster with Ruth Buzzy's picture taped to it. Thanks, dollar store.
She was so funny on those roasts.
Yes,
when she came out and hit people with the pocketbook like that. That was her.
Well, one of the funniest things I've ever heard Frank Sinatra say, she comes out to roast Frank Sinatra on the Dean Martin roast, and she explains about herself, and she's that old lady, and she goes, you know, I work for the Los Angeles Police Department. I'm known as the woman of 1,000 faces. And Frank Sinatra said, and you wore that one tonight? And she starts beating him. On cold mornings like this, I'm glad I had that remote start on my fleshlight. Due to the coronavirus.
Wait a minute. Back. I don't understand this fleshlight.
I have a remote start on my fleshlight.
I'm telling you, got weird references.
All right. Hey, due to the coronavirus, my sitcom, It's Always Sunny at Shitso Shitburgers, is on hiatus. I never told anybody this. Tonight I'll reveal it. My real name is John Amos Stamos, but I changed it because of the Lithuanians that run the entertainment in Branson, Missouri.
I love your cookies.
You're not going to get this one either. The
Don't tell me I'm not going to get it. Give me that one. I will get it.
All right. The Penguins of Madagascar is in the Cloverfield universe.
I know Cloverfield was the monster where the head comes off of the Statue of Liberty. Right?
Yes.
Clover, and the second one wasn't as good.
Yes. I already broke my New Year's resolution of trying to prove that my neighbor is a pagan devil. Wait. I've already broken my New Year's resolution of trying to prove my neighbor is a pagan devil, worshiper, witch. Turns out she was just a professional Stevie Nicks impersonator, and the mailman was blowing coke in her ass.
Woo! Happy New Year.
The worst book of 2020?
What's that, John?
The O'Dinklage Factor. Who's looking out for your shoes?
You did a lot of soul searching for that one.
I bet Medea is a real hound without makeup. Same thing for that stupid Dame Edna. Couple of hounds right there.
She was weird, Dame Edna.
Did you see that video of the toddler saving his twin when a dresser fell on him?
Yeah.
Well, they should call the Federal Bureau of Investigation Bureau. What, you piece of shit? You wish you wrote this, Bureau. I'm not saying she was miscast, but Stockard Channing got her AARP card while playing Rizzo in Grease. I'm still writing XXXXXXXX on all my checks because I learned neither how to read or write, just how to play this here banjo. Ding, 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 ding. All right, there's toe. All right. This guy said to me, stop me if you heard this one before. This rabbi, a dwarf, an altar boy, a bear, a chicken, Dracula, and Michael Jackson walk into a whorehouse. Michael Jackson pulls out a vibrator and a rubber chicken. The dwarf is carrying a chocolate cake. The altar boy, and then he said stop.
Wow. That's great.
He went so far with the joke.
Now, who was in that whorehouse?
A dwarf, a midget, Michael Jackson, Dracula, and a chicken, and an altar boy, and a rabbi and a dwarf.
There was no girls there.
No.
Oh, the chicken was a hen. I'm sorry.
Did you see that movie? You remember the movie, the Matt Damon film, Downsizing, where they shrank him to 6 inches tall?
Okay.
All right, it's about 2 years ago. Wasn't a big hit. Well, my scene in Downsizing was cut because they shrink everybody down to 6 inches tall. I yelled the line, "Prepare the Dinklagifier." And that's it for this week's.
Prepare the. Oh, right.
Dinklage.
With his goddamn tweets for the fortnight. Thank you so much, Johnny. I want to go to the phone and introduce an old friend of the show, a longtime part of this program. We haven't spoken to him for a while. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bradley Beck. Brad, are you with us?
Hey, Brad.
Okay, in that case, John.
Yes.
Where's Brad?
You've done a lot of unboxings.
Yes.
On the program.
Yes.
I don't really understand why, but I'm all about this tonight, and I'll tell you why. The cameras are back. We have the visual element once again, and now's the time. This will give the audio-only listeners a reason to check out the video version.
Yes.
So I'm excited about this for the first time in years. Now, you showed me before the show what it was you thought you ordered.
Yes. Okay. There's a I don't know if you call it a holiday, some day of celebration called Halloween. Okay. Mm-hmm. Sorry for the crinkly noise. I'm trying to open this. It's a very secure.
The Irish people started that, the Halloween.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Anyway, when you signed on to Facebook, you're inundated with tons of ads for these life-size masks. You can put over in like real skin latex masks. Like it's the kind you hear about. Like in California, some guy robs a bank as a black person or an old man, and it's really a white guy. And Steve, by the way, too, I don't know why doesn't like the FBI just find out who bought them, who bought these masks.
Right, trace the purchase.
Yeah, exactly. And some of these commercials they ran all the time, and these masks are high. Is he here? Is Brad here?
Yeah, but John, please.
All right, they're high quality masks.
Okay.
And it looks like you look just like Ed Asner or an old man. And I'm showing Steve a picture right now. You can't tell that's a man with a mask.
Yeah, this looks like a chubby Ben Kingsley, what we have here.
Yes, he has a white mustache and a bald head and white hair on the sides. And
it's like the famous old man mask.
Yes, but there's a video of the guy putting it on. It has like a neck piece, and it looks fantastic.
Right.
And so it was on sale. It was like $30, and I got it for like $19. And so I'm like, I'll make a funny video with it, or just say, fool your friends, right?
Yeah, this is a very convincing rendition.
Yes.
It looks like an Arthur Baker. Is that the guy who did all the prosthetics for
Yes.
science fiction motion
right.
pictures?
So I ordered it.
How much did you pay for this?
$20 plus shipping and handling.
John, do you have other masks?
No, I'm not that.
Oh, I was going to ask, and you wore that one tonight?
Thank you. But it was just so I got it, and this looks like something you'd find in like a dollar store bin, like November 1st. And
that's the internet. The internet you can't trust.
Yeah, and
oh my goodness.
Do I look like an old man sitting here?
No, it looks very fake. First of all, the skin is pink.
Yeah, I think with makeup, okay, and maybe a little, yeah, maybe with the glasses.
The glasses won't help, but it's just a piece of cheap junk, and I realize this too. Like it looks like it's
how much was it?
$20.
That's worth like $20.
I don't know, but
but any more than that would be.
But the ad makes it go. You run down the street or go sneak it on an old age home and get free meals.
Brad Beck, are you with us?
Hey, how you doing?
All right,
hey,
thank
Brad.
you. Welcome back to the program, Brad. We appreciate you returning to the TPAH fold. Quick question. When we first met you, you were a quarter Jewish. Over the years, you somehow became half Jewish. Any chance you've increased your Jewishness, if that's a word?
I don't think I've not gotten it past that 50% threshold, no.
And the 50%, that came from, I guess, a DNA sample you sent into, what was it?
ancestry DNA, and I'm hoping that usually around Christmas time, a lot of people get them as gifts for people, and then the results start coming in January, and then every January for the last couple of years, I've always gotten a couple different, close relations and things like that. But I do wonder if, someone might have given it as a gift to, like, my birth mother or father, and they were like, oh, just throw it away.
So I guess that kind of hints at it, but you were adopted, and this is why you're not entirely sure of your ancestry. You've just started to discover this since the technology has advanced. Well, welcome back to the program, Brad.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
How is the pandemic treating you?
It's working from home. Obviously, had to put that burgeoning comedy career on hold. Going from performing in front of two people to, just the cats now. So.
So you haven't done any of those Zoom shows?
Put your paws together.
No. I attended a few, but that's not comedy. Tough stuff. But
what is that like when you attend? You didn't pay for any of this, did you?
No, there's another podcast that I enjoy where they had, a live show, a couple live shows, and it was one of the guests was Chris James, who I don't know if you know him, but he like prank calls a lot of like conservative talk show hosts, like almost it's like almost the only thing he does. And so good at it that he makes his own show on YouTube where it's just all these prank calls, like because they capture their feed while he's doing it, and he's the type of person that like he can make that exciting because he's just such a.
And I think we lost Brad.
Got scared.
Come on, Brad. Come back, Brad, when you get a chance. Whit?
I don't like those guys who crank call and do that. That always skeeves me. That and like the candid cameras, when they catch people going. I don't want to see that. That's.
Well, what puts you off about that?
It's the true reaction, and you kind of feel sorry for the person. I guess I have a little thing called empathy, and when I see that, I just think, how easy is that to do that? I use props, so my comedy is pretty easy. But when I see people like, take advantage of people's unawareness or their or their foibles or not knowing who the other side is, it seems to me it's not my type of comedy. But Brad is funny.
Brad Whit is not a fan of this Chris James guy.
Have you ever seen him though?
No, but I've seen. It's that type of comedy where you catch people unaware, or you do that, or you call some authority figure.
They actually know him. That's what's so crazy about it. He will call up the same shows over and over again to the point where, like, they know it's him coming into it. Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's like, I don't really like parody songs, but I love Weird Al. I mean, it's like he's.
I like that. I like that you said that.
Yeah, like he's real, like a real, I don't know, like it's just some of it's interesting. Like some of it he'll like, go to Rudy Giuliani and say, oh, you married your cousin, but then there's other people he'll call up as this guy his name is like Tech Head Terry. And he'll just talk to them for 5 minutes about the different tech that they use to make the show, and like they can't seem to get out of the call. And he's like just boring them to tears and just slowing down the show without it being some like vulgar thing. I mean, it's very, very interesting. I don't know. I like him, but
yeah, you know what? That was interesting that you said that you didn't like song parodies, but you enjoy Weird Al, because I think that every genre that we look at like opera. I always say, "Oh, I hate opera." I'm sure that there's great songs on opera. I don't like I don't like certain artists, but I'm sure that there's so many people who like this artist that they have to have something going for them. There's
Yeah.
I hate I hate to just dismiss something like that. And thank you for changing my mind about it. I'm going to listen to him.
Yeah, he's on YouTube. He's definitely, I don't know, he's just a great performer. But yeah, as far as Zoom comedy, I mean, I feel bad. I actually feel bad for like a lot of people, a lot of comedians. I don't know. The only thing that's good, maybe some people might end up not coming back, But some people that maybe needed to take a break, probably myself included. But yeah, I don't know.
Well,
just go over your notes. That's what you do. You just go over your notes.
Yeah.
From what I understand, from what you told me yesterday, Brad, you kind of reignited a love you had as a boy during the quarantine.
Yeah. So this is like really crazy, and please feel free to make fun. I understand it. So back in June, I don't know if you remember when the basketball teams and the baseball teams like walked off the court in protest of the George Floyd killing. So NASCAR had, I guess, thought about like what their response was, and they decided they were going to ban the display of Confederate flags at their races, which was, I guess, trying to at least bring themselves into like the 20th century. And then a couple days later, there was a news report that there is a black driver in NASCAR named Bubba Wallace.
Yes.
What a name. And that he was going to race in a Black Lives Matter car. And I was like, oh my God. Like, NASCAR is woke, And so I decided, I said, I have to watch this just out of morbid curiosity. I wanted to see a few laps of the race to see if, I don't know if the Ku Klux Klan was going to run up to him in the middle of a pit stop or something. But so that night I put it on. My wife's sitting next to me. She says, "What the hell are you watching?" I'm like, "Oh no, I just want to see it for a little bit." And I you see the car going around with the Black Lives Matter logo and all that stuff, and I was like, okay, but then I kept watching, and I was just transfixed by this race, and I think the announcers kind of knew that maybe there would be some people watching for the first time, so they were maybe kind of describing what was going on, or explaining what was going on a little more than they would normally do in a race, and I was just watching him. I got into it, and the next thing you know, I'm like, I've seen every NASCAR race since then. I've been watching even the minor circuit. I own a piece of an actual NASCAR, it's on my wall in my office, a piece of sheet metal. I think about it all the time. I don't tweet about it because I only have a very small number of people who follow me on Twitter, but that are NASCAR fans. But I comment a lot.
Okay, Brad. You're a big NASCAR fan who referred to a NASCAR.
I understand that it wouldn't be referred to as being part of a NASCAR, that it's a stock car, but I didn't know if the people that are listening to the show would...
Oh, we're hip. We're hip.
Okay.
Did you ever go to a live... Have you gone to a live race?
I have gone to live, not NASCAR races, but live other types of stock car races when I was younger. Because I was a fan when I was younger, but I haven't been to a NASCAR race because they.
About how old were you when you were a fan? When you were last a fan?
From when I was birthed to probably 11 or 12.
And that must have been bizarre. You were probably an outlier, a contrarian, perhaps, growing up on Long Island and being a NASCAR fan. That must have been strange.
Well, I think so. I was thinking about it today, and I was really into two things when I was that age: country music and NASCAR. But that was because those were two things my dad was into.
Oh,
My
okay.
dad,
Okay.
before I was born, he like co-owned a like a souped up stock car with his friends, and they raced it on the weekends at like amateur races and stuff. And he worked in the automobile industry for probably like 50 years. So he's super into cars, and super into country music. And so I was into it. I mean, I had like Stetson hats, cowboy boots, race car jackets. Like, I drove.
You were a poser.
Cars, stuff like that. I loved all of it. But then when I, turned 11 and 12, I guess I started at a new school, which was probably, if I would have walked around with cowboy boots and NASCAR shirts and stuff like that, I would have been ostracized.
And beaten up.
Turns out I was ostracized. Yeah, and all those things happened anyway. I could have been myself and got beat up. I ended up having to, pretend to be a big, Morrissey fan or whatever.
Who was your
And
driver?
then, Bill Elliott.
Oh, he was your guy? I did the Marin thing.
Yeah.
He was your guy?
Oh my God, you did it! Yeah, congratulations.
When I was a teen, I went to the Pocono 500, and
I'm going.
oh my God, I that's the only time I've ever been to it. But you see those cars going so fast, it's just really neat. And in Hazleton, Pennsylvania, I went to some
Hazleton.
Yeah, some supermarket, and I'm 12 years old, and in walked Paul Newman and Darrell Waltrip.
Wow.
And I had no idea.
Oh, wow.
I knew who Paul Newman was as a kid, but they were buddy, and they were. I think he had the Mountain Dew car or something, or something. Darrell Waltrip.
That Mountain Dew car is the best. Like, that's my.
Well, you're
it's like the most
a
beautiful
country and
car.
western fan. You're a country and western
Yeah,
fan. Now, who's your favorite?
yeah.
George Jones or Tammy or the new stuff?
Oh gosh. So like when I was growing up, I mean, I really like Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson was my first concert when I was like 8 years old, and then I saw him when I turned 21, and I met him at a show in New York City. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot. I mean, I guess Willie would be probably the most obvious one. I mean, that's not like an obscure choice, but But I do like I like a lot of country music. And it wasn't too long because when I went to high school in the mid '90s, like even though I had stopped listening to country, it became hip again in the mid '90s because like the alt country movement. And all that stuff.
Right. No, it's funny. There in Mount Holly, New Jersey, there's a country western bar called Prospectors. It's a restaurant, but it has a little auditorium for country line dancing. And right before the pandemic, Garth Brooks made a surprise Thursday night concert there, and he's like the biggest guy out there. And it was only to his fan club, but it was just
Right. He did a dive bar tour, and that was one of the stops
Yeah.
I
on the
remember
dive
that,
bar
yeah.
tour.
I saw him with Billy Joel, and I asked Billy Joel, and he had a concert in New York, and I went there, and I can remember asking all of the New Yorkers, how did you like Garth Brooks? Because this is brand new. He was brand new out there, and every one of them said they loved him, and I thought that and I thought he would do. I mean, he had big hits, but he didn't have any crossover hits more than the 2 or 3 songs.
There's a Kiss tribute album called "Kiss My Ass,"
Okay,
and
yeah.
Garth Brooks does,
Hard Luck Woman.
and it's really good.
He's
Yeah.
Garth is a Kiss fan, a big Kiss fan.
And
I hear.
as a big Kiss fan myself, I can tell you that that's the only track on that album that Kiss actually plays on.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
He fronted Kiss for that recording.
That's wild.
So, Brad, you got back in the NASCAR.
But I was going to say one thing. When I was younger, when I was like probably out of high school at that point, I saw Paul Newman race at Lime Rock Park in a vintage, like it was a race where it was a bunch of like 1960s like sports race car type like cars, and I think it might have been Porsches. And yeah, I got to see him race, and everyone was all over. It was wild.
Brad,
That's
unreal
cool.
seeing it.
Brad, did you or your dad have like 60s muscle cars?
No, he had a '83 LeBaron convertible.
Love LeBaron.
It was really nice, but he well, part of the falling out was me not getting that car.
I went to ShopRite. And I saw Paul Newman dressing. I'm sorry. But he's one movie star I never saw, Paul Newman. And, he was on the scene a lot. I knew, like you saw him. And my friend Kevin Kearney once lent him a hat. He had to take him to the airport, and he had to lend him a hat. And he showed you how to wear a hat and your face not to be seen. So Paul Newman was a cool guy in my book just for doing that. And he drank a case of beer a day, isn't that true?
That's what I heard. Yeah, and his favorite movie that he
Amateur.
did. His favorite movie that he ever did was Slap. He loved the movie Slapshot.
Slapstick, right?
The hockey one.
Slapshot, yeah.
Slapshot, yeah. And that was made in Pennsylvania. That's a Pennsylvania movie.
So, Brad, you got back into NASCAR.
Yes.
Do you have a driver today?
I think I'm too new to it to have a specific driver. I feel like
Is
as
Chase
I learn
Elliott-
about the drivers.
Is Chase Elliott still?
Chase Elliott won he won the Cup championship this year
Oh, okay. So
for the first time. And he's young. He's only 24 years old.
I would have thought he would have been your guy. I did it again.
Who was the female?
Danica Patrick.
Yes.
Oh, didn't she just get in trouble, too?
She
So
broke up.
that's a different one. So Haley Deegan is like 19, and she's in the truck series. So she's like in the minor division, like working her way up. But she literally gets in trouble on a monthly basis for saying something stupid.
Yeah, she did. That's right.
Can you give us an
That's what happened
example?
with women.
What has she said?
So the other day during an iRacing thing, which is like a internet racing thing, she called someone the R word.
Oh, it's a game. It's a gamer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Broadcast live. But this is also last year a driver was kicked out of NASCAR because he on the same thing said the N word.
I remember that one.
And do you know why?
He actually, yeah.
Oh, do you know why?
Go ahead.
Do you know why? Do you know how Danica Patrick practiced to be such a good NASCAR driver?
How's that, John?
How?
She put a steering wheel on the oven.
All right. That's a Chris
John.
Brown.
Yeah.
That's sex. Brad, can I ask you a question? What part of a NASCAR do you have? You said you had a part of a NASCAR. And me as a collector, that intrigues me.
I'm more intrigued that he used the phrase NASCAR.
Stock car.
And then you repeated it.
I didn't realize I was on one of the many NASCAR podcasts out there. I thought I was on a comedy podcast.
Oh, well, you haven't been listening lately.
It's a piece of the door panel about the size of a record album cover, and it's kind of like by where the door meets the rear wheel. So it's not the numbers side, but it has like a sponsor logo, and it was signed by Leonard Wood, who is the longtime owner and mechanic for Wood Brothers Racing for like 60 years. He's in the NASCAR Hall of Fame.
At my day job, I do contracting work, and I've worked in several people's houses. They're huge fans. In their basements, they have a tire or two.
Right, yeah, they sell those after the races.
Yeah, and I think they can only be used like one race, right? I think they. But it was
they'll use 8 sets of tires in a race.
Wow.
So they might only go 50 miles on a tire and then swap it out for a new one. So if people want to buy them on the way home, you can turn it into a coffee table. You put get maybe 2 of them and put a glass top over it or something. I don't know.
My
People collect anything. I love it.
my friend, a very good friend growing up, his father is a huge fan, and his dad goes, "I've been a car fan since the 1950s," and he said in 1955 he went to Le Mans race, and he was there when one of the cars flew out of the track and killed like 40 people in the audience.
Wow.
And he,
Yeah.
I,
Wow.
I go, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, I took pictures and they published them in Life magazine. So he goes to his house and he brings out an album of people got killed by car tires and stuff. But he actually sold them. And but he was there at the Le Mans crash.
That's so sad.
Yeah, it was. It was weird.
So, Brad, what I'm getting from you, as a guy who I believe genuinely likes irony, you kind of are drawn to things that aren't really that good, but you appreciate how bad they are. Am I wrong?
Nah, see, I don't know, because I'm also really into Formula One, which is like, the, it's I don't know, it's just a much more sophisticated.
The posh version of
NASCAR.
NASCAR.
like
right.
Days of Thunder, one of those cars.
Well, no, Days of Thunder was NASCAR.
Okay, but Formula One or the
Formula One.
There was
open wheel.
yeah, the pointy ones with
But
Now, the reason why I bring this up, Brad, is I'm getting from you regarding NASCAR is that this is a genuine appreciation you have.
yeah, there's no irony whatsoever. Like, that's the thing. I mean, I know I like I like campy bad movies and cheesy pop music and stuff like Bucks Fizz or whatever. But
Right.
this is a genuine appreciation. Yeah, there's no and there's definitely, like I was hinting at in our emails yesterday or text messages, like I've definitely the fans of NASCAR are not the fans of Improv Everywhere.
exactly.
It's a bit more of a conservative and religious crowd, and sometimes I've gotten people upset with me. But there is like a group on Twitter, like of a few dozen like kind of big time NASCAR fans who are more that way. So
one of my friends, I know from doing comedy up in upstate Pennsylvania at the Pocono 500, his wife for a birthday present got him NASCAR camp. And it's a day they teach you how to drive a car and you do a couple laps.
Wow.
And he oh, you know what it was? I'm wrong. It was the guy who runs the Doylestown Comedy Cabaret. It was the greatest thing he's ever done. He said it was so much freaking fun.
Pete, Big Pete.
I think he.
He's a car fan. Yeah, there's people who are car fans that are fanatical about it. I mean, I find it funny, but there are people who love ventriloquist dummies and people who love Kiss and they collect all that stuff from it. But I think that's it's a guilty pleasure. What do you have a guilty pleasure that is something that you enjoy that you think that is not in the mainstream and you'd kind of be embarrassed to say that you like it?
Oh, you know what makes me laugh is that cheesy wrestling, that Chikara.
Chikara Pro Wrestling.
Nobody in there is like bigger than any of us physically. They're 5'10", 6 feet tall, and they're 140 pounds.
Right.
But they put on such an entertaining show, and there's people we know.
We had years ago. We had their grand champion on the show. He's like the John Cena of the company, and he was one of the worst guests we've ever had.
I remember him and the other guy.
What was his name?
Not Matt.
Icarus.
Yes.
Icarus.
I've been to those shows before. They do like an intermission where everyone will kind of hang out and try to sell merch and talk to people, and it's very nice, very family friendly. It's a very sweet thing.
So, Brad, you mentioned a Twitter group involving NASCAR.
So there's just, I would say that there was like an informal group of like, just kind of certain like NASCAR fans that are not rednecks essentially, and like basically, just following those accounts and just trying to like, because I mean that's who else am I gonna? Those are the people I would associate with, and some of those people have started to follow me, and it's nice to be able to, know people like that. But yeah, so a couple weeks ago, this was really like, I mean, this is when I really realized like how far out of my element I was. A reporter for NASCAR, who is a great reporter, he was talking about that a driver named Kyle Busch and his wife, they have a fund that they give to, but also raise money for, to buy to help families with IVF treatments, families that are having a hard time with fertility, and it, it's probably about $30,000 or so for the treatment. So they give them the money for the treatment, and they said that this year there were 10 babies born as a result of that, and there's been like 34 total. And so I commented on this. Well, that's one of the most useless NASCAR charities yet. And I mean,
wait, hold on. But what did you mean by that?
So what I meant by it was that I feel, I guess I could have elaborated in my comment instead of just saying that like a complete asshole. But my thought was, I think that there, if you have, I kind of like with charity where people can kind of choose what is important to them, where, it's like, you choose the cute thing, the thing that's close to your heart, but like, there could be people suffering out there who need that money more. And like these, the babies that were born, they weren't living, they weren't conceived or anything like that.
Right.
And there's people who are truly suffering and could use that money. And but because, maybe those people are not, these cute families looking for the IVF treatment, and with their kind of sad stories, they don't get the money. And as someone who's adopted, I do think, once again, like there's a lot of people out there, a lot of children who are adopted, and I mean, I'm not personally adopting them myself, but maybe these families that because I had 2 kids, but maybe these families that have I don't know. So, but
no, I know, Brad. What you're saying is, if people really want kids, there are kids out there in need of good homes.
But not only that, but also I just felt like, I just feel like it's the type of charity where it's like that money could have been used to serve people with real needs. Because all these families can, they don't have the money for the IVF treatment, but they have the money to, raise a kid. So like they're living somewhat comfortably. They just are sad that they can't have a kid.
And you're right too, because like the IVF treatments are like $10,000-$20,000 a treatment. That's a lot of money. Just because the dad shoots crazy foam.
But apparently, I got 0 likes on that comment, and a comment that I ended up eventually just deleting it. Like, people were retweeting me saying, like, look at this fucking asshole. Many said to me, I hope you don't have kids, you piece of shit. God forbid.
Oh yeah, you'll get.
And I was like,
you'll get that.
And then I made the mistake of trying to defend myself in the comments instead of just, like I tried laying out my case, but of course it was too late. But then I get a comment from Dave Moody, who is NASCAR's Motor Racing Network, is their radio, like the radio broadcast of the race. He's the turn announcer. He's a legend in NASCAR, and I've listened to him. He's incredible. Like I often do listen to the races on the radio. He's amazing. Like, and then he's going after me about how horrible my opinion is and how horrible my take is. And I was like,
what did he say?
Well, I deleted my.
You can't mess with babies. You can't mess with babies. Everybody will take their, even if their opinion is.
I think Brad's point was these are babies who don't exist.
No, but it's like you can't, babies and dogs and veterans, right?
Right.
Like you can't, like I'm a seasoned
and Elvis.
You would know that. I would never make fun of Elvis, but so he said something like, those 32 families who now have a child would really feel differently than you. Or he said something like, if you were one of those fathers, you would feel so much different. And I said, look, I understand that. Obviously, it's wonderful that they're parents, I just think that the money should go someplace else to people who are in need. And I don't like I'm just not a fan of. I hate to say it, but I'm not a fan of charity. Like I just think that it's not that I'm stingy and don't want to give my money to good causes. I just think that charity, it's like these, it's like half of it's marketing to try to show you the cutest family in need of, IVF treatment, or the cutest kid with a cleft palate, so you can send some money their way. And it just, I don't like it. I'd rather just give the money to the government and say, give it to people in need. Because some of those people might be ugly and smell, but they still need the money.
Hey, I'm right here.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. But I also don't like being guilted into doing something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and guilty and victimized, because a lot of senior citizens get inundated with that sort of exactly the cute the cute kid over in some foreign country who needs something, and they guilt them into that, and it's a sham a lot of times. Charities only have to give a certain percentage of their money that they take in to the actual charity, and the other ones are just like charity brokers. Okay, they're there to do that, and that's
several giant charities that we all know their names. People always say they're only getting about 2% of the money that comes in, and they go, "The rest is clerical," like in offices and stuff like that. It's all the number one charities we know of, it's that way.
Right.
And they all have professional fundraisers. Like when I used to work at a nonprofit in Pennsylvania.
There we go.
And fundraising was a big part of what they did. Like they got a lot of money from the state, but they had like a grant writer. That was his whole job. It was to basically write, these grants to try to get money for the company, and he was good at what he did, but like it's just crazy, like that just people are getting paid to get money. But so anyway, it ended. It actually was like 3 back and forth. Like it wasn't just like he understood what I was saying but disagreed, and then I finally just left it at, I was like, Dave, I am a huge fan of what you do, and I cannot wait to hear you at Daytona calling the race. Because I didn't want to certainly get into a flame war. I've been a NASCAR fan for 7 months.
And Daytona's coming up pretty soon. Do you have a prediction?
The cars will go very, very, very
like both my parents passed away the past couple of years, and unbeknownst to me, they must have donated to every charity out there. I mean, it's like everything.
You get a lot of address labels.
Yeah, and they misspell my name as John Kensick with a C at the end, and it's like things and I'm still getting them from Doctors Without Pants, it's just stupid. But it's every Indian charities, and oh my God, my mom. They must have plucked their hearts.
They're very persuasive, the people on the phone, and they will run you through so many different. I mean, this is a different way than that. The way they get the senior citizens is that they do random calls, and they have sweatshops where they try to get people, and they are very persuasive, and will try to get you for hours. Okay, and my friend Mikey Dimples. He leads. He's a senior citizen. He leads these people on who were trying to solicit funds for hours and hours, and he'll be sitting there playing cards and cooking something, and every once in a while we'll just go into the phone, and then and I'll let this person call, and it's like a sport to him to have these people try to solicit money from him and and he knows they're scam artists. My friend Mike is a little scam artist himself. But so it takes one to know one, and he likes to just lead these people on to think that they're going to make so much money off him, and that he's going to do this and that, and then he just doesn't follow through.
Every once in a while, there's a news story that some senior citizen was bilked out of something like $300,000, and I always think, how is it possible that someone that stupid has $300,000?
Wow.
What is the bull doing wrong?
Well, I heard Warren have practically nothing, so.
And it's mental things. It's people as they get older, they get. What was I talking about? No, people when they get older, their mental facilities are decimated.
And that's rotten. When I get a call from a charity and they'll say like whatever, and I'll say, I can't hear you. I lost my ears on a bar bet, and I hang up on them.
That's a way to get rid of them.
If you ever go to Rite Aid or Walgreens, and at the reloadable, like the gift card section where it's like the Visa gift cards, there will be a sign above it. I know they have it at the Rite Aid. That's very clear and big that says, if you are on the phone with someone right now, nothing they're saying is true. Like, because there people will call up the senior citizen and say the IRS, we're going to repossess your house. You owe us, X amount of money.
Right, but you can pay us in gift cards.
Right, because you go to Rite Aid, you buy the Visa gift card because it's untraceable, of course.
Yeah.
Those Visa gift cards are perfect for that.
Go ahead. I'm telling no. That we just said there.
Who did you just call Pat?
I'm sorry. I was meant to say Brad. Sorry. Just last week, I did a job for a customer. It was a woman who did the exact same thing. A guy called her up and said he was from her bank, and he accidentally mistransferred her funds, and he had to borrow money off people to put back in the bank so it wouldn't be found out. And it was her account, he said. And he says, but to make up for it, I need $2,500 in gift certificates from Best Buy. And this woman I'm working for went to Best Buy, bought $2,500 in cards for him. Then she read him the numbers over the phone. It was total.
Yeah, that's a lot of criminal activity. Wherever any new technology or new way of dealing with stuff, there's always going to be a con man or a con person.
Did you think we were talking to somebody named Pat?
No. I would say Brad. Well, the woman's name. Well, that's funny. The woman's name is Pat.
Okay.
Who I was talking about. But
I'm not sure that's true, John. I think you really thought we were talking to somebody.
And is
named
Pat a man or a woman? Okay.
I don't know. And but it's but it's rotten. It's funny too. At my mom's house, I get phone calls all the time. And an obvious guy from Pakistan saying, "It's your nephew. I need some money. I'm stuck at the bus station." And a couple times my mom fell for it. And I'm like, she's like, "Do we have a nephew named like Bahib?" I'm like, "No, but preying upon old people. It's always your niece or nephew who's stuck in another country."
And if they said my nephew was down there, I would maybe give money if I had to.
Uncle Proppy, I'm stuck in Florida.
I mean, there is the short A sound in Brad that is shared with Pat. But you've known Brad for a long time. Why would you think his name is Pat?
Sorry.
It
slipped.
I think it's the long A in the middle. The Brad, Pat. Yeah, I could see that.
Didn't you?
I just witnessed it, and I still can't see it.
My mother.
I have no idea what's going on anymore.
Brad, didn't after the Bubba Wiles incident?
So you just said Brad to prove that you know his
yes,
name.
Of
yes,
course.
I
Brad, right? But didn't like Bubba Wiles and Magic Johnson form that Black Lives Matter NASCAR team?
Well, no. It's Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin. They formed this team just called 2311. Denny Hamlin is a NASCAR driver who's in the Domino's commercials, if you've ever seen him.
Oh, yeah.
And they formed a team. They've already had like a partnership in the past, and then they hired Bubba Wallace as the first driver. Because apparently, I don't know if this is true or not, but Michael Jordan did grow up in North Carolina, and he was like a fan of NASCAR when he was a little kid. And there's even a picture of him when he's, I think, in like high school with Richard Petty. So it was, it was pretty funny. But Bubba Wallace will be driving for him next year. So
And isn't the Carolinas where NASCAR started with shipping the moonshine around? Wasn't that?
Yeah. Charlotte, like the Charlotte area, is the hub of NASCAR. But yeah, it started with as with those souped up cars for the moonshine, and then they started racing them without the booze in them on the beach at Daytona. They would race on the sand actually. And
here's just the stupidest question of the night.
What's that?
What does NASCAR stand for?
National Association of Stock Car Auto Racing.
I never knew. I thought it was like.
Yeah.
Now, tonight, I got to hear two things I didn't think I would ever hear on this program.
I'm sorry, I snorted.
I heard somebody.
I
heard somebody refer to a NASCAR.
Okay.
And I heard one member of the show
who will remain
refer to another member of the show as Pat. There has never been a Pat within 100 miles of this program.
I was going to say I don't think there's ever been a Jewish person called Pat, as far as I know.
So there we go. Brad, we're up against the clock. Is there anything you want to mention before we close shop?
Follow me on at @OurDailyBrad_. I might change it to something more racing related in the future to hear me say horrifically offensive things about poor families who just wanted to have a goddamn baby. I think it was also the first time in my life I've ever admitted I was wrong about something, But and that's it.
Well, you have to dig in. It's not entertaining if you don't dig in.
Yeah, I know, but I'm trying to get NASCAR fans to like me. I wanna maybe do my own thing with it someday.
Will we talk to you soon?
Yeah, I feel really bad about this, but I didn't realize this show was. I remember you guys started a new studio, but then I remember you guys stopped for COVID, with COVID, and then I looked at the thing. I'm like, oh, there's they did a whole year's worth of episodes. So I started listening to them because I.
Oh, really? Brad. No. I apologize. Please don't. If you haven't heard everything, please stop listening.
That's patronizing. Patronizing. Did you hear that?
Joey Adams.
That's mansplaining.
We're getting there. We're figuring it out, and we're gonna.
So I'm going back at them. I listened to 2 so far.
Well, Godspeed, John Glenn. With plugs.
Hey, watch me on. I'm doing some more self-archaeology on YouTube. Look up the legendary Wid self-archaeology on YouTube, or YouTube self-archaeology, the legendary Wid, and you'll see what I have inside my little collections inside. But what I'm really looking for is a part to a NASCAR. That would complete my collection. So just watch me, self-archaeology.
John plugs.
Also, too, Sunday, January 22nd at 12 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
Wid and I will be doing part of a thing called the longest, trying to get in the Guinness Book of the World's Record, the longest virtual comedy show, viral comedy show, which... and we'll be at 12 o'clock. It's supposed to be 5 days of comedians performing 24 hours a day. And that's Sunday, January 20. The Friday's the 23rd, right?
Okay.
Send us that link and we'll put it on the Facebook page.
Oh, yeah. We're I think it's just in the planning stages. Have you heard back?
No. And but next Friday night in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, where Jim Thorpe was born and raised, and Jim Thorpe.
Not true at all.
No, he wasn't.
Live.
He was never
on a sports
Jim
platform.
Thorpe was never in Jim Thorpe.
I believe he was from North Dakota.
Yes, and
he started his football career out in Carlisle.
Yeah, in Carlisle.
And but it's where the Mile McGuire's happened at, where they made the Sean Connery movie. But there's a really nice place there called Penn's Peak, where bands like the bass player from REO Speedwagon will play. Not people who aren't on the going up in the world of entertainment. But I'll be at a great show there next Friday night, January 22nd, 6:30 p.m. with the Reverend Bob Levy,
He's
Daniel
funny.
Luther,
He's good.
Joe Conti, and it should be a ridiculously fun show. And it's a beautiful town to visit too. It looks like a Christmas village from a toy train set.
All right. Well, in that case, thank you so much, Pat Beck, for joining us once again. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
What a bizarre thing to have
I
said.
learned so much about NASCAR now. Okay.
Legendary Wade, John Ketzel, I'm Steve Reeves. Oscar
Hey.
Wade.
Chihuahua.
Holy Magano.
Takati
We did it.
Peace.